Question is, shall the bill pass finally? On that question, the Speaker recognizes the gentleman from Westmoreland County, Mr. Saccone.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, but I'm actually from Allegheny County. The biggest problem with school budgets, Mr. Speaker, is employees' salaries, medical benefits, and pensions. As I've said before, that's 75% of the costs in school districts. And the biggest problem with school boards, and I was on a school board, is they're ineffective at negotiating employee contracts. SB 330 provides leverage for the taxpayers so school boards can more effectively negotiate those contracts to hold down costs. Now, I hear frequently that we're hurting schools and teachers and students, every manner of stakeholder we're hurting. But I never hear the taxpayer. What about the taxpayer? Because the taxpayers are paying those bills and their resources are limited. Now, I know my good colleague from Allegheny County, I know he's heard from the unions loud and clear, and I've heard from the unions loud and clear. But I encourage him and all the members from Allegheny County to stand with me and the taxpayers to hold down costs in school districts. And many of those taxpayers are senior citizens who spent their whole life paying for their little castle, their little home, only to find that at the end of their lives, they can't afford their own little castle anymore. Mr. Speaker, I've had those seniors, little old ladies, tugging my elbow at the grocery store and at the bank saying, I'm a widow, I'm living on my husband's U.S. Steel pension, $800 a month, and I can't barely make it, and yet I have to pay, I can't even afford my medical care, but I have to pay the medical care of the employees at the school district and their benefits, and I cannot pay my property tax, and I might have to give up my home. Mr. Speaker, it's hard. It's hard to deal with that. And others have told me, I'd like to improve my home. I'd like to add on that addition. I'd like to do something to fix up my house, but I can't because they might raise my property taxes and I might lose my home. Mr. Speaker, the taxpayers have had enough. They've sent the message loud and clear in the last election cycle. 330 requires school boards to manage their costs better. Why? Because they will have to directly convince the taxpayers that their additional taxes are necessary. That's all it is. It doesn't hurt school districts at all. So I would encourage all my colleagues here to stand with me and the taxpayers and vote yes on SB 330. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.